stayed up to watch that. So much regret. I don't care if we won, so much regret. Ugh, I could have watched the highlights and gotten a good idea of what happened. Oh my god. Okay. So, first of all, I do want to say that I'm a little bit more frustrated right now with the game than probably I would be if I had just seen a regular game where we were terrible and won 4-3. So, first of all, you may notice tomorrow morning that the upload that's coming out is our game against Colorado. Because for some reason the computer decided to say, "Hey, I don't want to upload," and completely just upload canceled. Don't know why. You didn't cancel it. I did. So yeah, I don't have that one uploaded yet. So that's what it's currently doing. And then on top of that, just the fact that the game tonight happened at 11 o'clock. Yeah, great. I love staying up till 11 to watch a game. Which, honestly, I don't mind. But when it's that late, and then I look at the lineup, and I see what I see, I really should have just said at that point, you know what, this is probably not going to be good. Maybe I should just watch it another day when I'm more awake and when I'm not as frustrated. But I made the mistake of trying to stay up and watch this shit, and, well, it was shit. So let's just first of all talk about just a couple things that it doesn't involve the players on the field. First of all, the referees. Kind of a weird game, From the very beginning, it felt like, okay, he's setting the standard. Challenges on players making a run in on goal where they're pretty much through and then somebody comes and cuts them down from behind. If it's on an Atlanta United player, that's fine. But when it's on a San Jose player, that's not okay, so that's a yellow card. It felt pretty one-sided at first, and I don't really know exactly what happened because Unimas is terrible and they have no idea what they're doing. Their camera people are looking like, oh, is that possibly offsides? I'm like, that's not what he's looking at, you dumbasses. He's clearly looking to see, did the ball go out of play or was it a handball? And then on the second one, I'm like, he's looking, is it a handball in the box on the other side? So, yeah, I didn't get a good view of what happened during the first goal. I got an okay view of the second one. You could definitely see his arm come out for that VAR decision. I just wish I had a better angle of it to see how did the AR miss it, because from what I saw, it looked like his elbow went out and it hit his elbow right here. And yet the AR didn't call it. So either the AR is just blind or a terrible referee, or it wasn't as bad as it seemed from the angle that I got, which was like from the other side of the field. So yeah, I can't really say much on both of those VAR decisions. I don't know whether or not the ball was out of play or if it was a handball that led to the first goal. When Escobar and that other guy was battling for it. So I can't really speak on that, but the decisions on the field did at times feel a bit one-sided. It felt like there were times where yellow cards should have been issued and they were not for San Jose. So whenever a game feels like that, you sort of get the feeling that they can sort of go into whatever challenge they like and get away with it. And sometimes that happened tonight. But yeah, I was really shocked, honestly, when the VAR decision went our way. That not only took away their fourth goal, but also gave us our second. Because just the way the game was going, I'm thinking, no, he's going to look at it and say, whatever it is, no, let's move on. So the fact that he actually decided, yeah, that's a handball, and gave us a penalty for it, I don't know. I was kind of shocked. I'm like, oh, wow, a VAR decision went our way. What? What is this? What is this feeling of excitement and joy for a millisecond about VAR? So anyway, all that aside, though, got to talk about Tata in this game because really set the team up for failure, in all honesty. I mean, beyond the fact that after a game where, honestly, we played decent, not great, but decent, in a formation that really suits us, and we dominated. And honestly, the other team hardly had a chance. You go back to your old formation of 4-2-3-1, and like I've been saying all season, this formation leaves us so weak defensively. And so we concede 3, almost 4 goals. And honestly, could have conceded more. How many chances did Colorado get again when we played 3-4-3? only like, 3 or 4 good chances maybe. How many did San Jose, a team worse than them, create against us tonight? Like 12, 13, 14, something like that. It felt like chances were just chance after chance after chance. We looked pitiful defensively. Now, I don't know how much to blame of that on tired legs. Michael Parkhurst, he's a bit older. Maybe he can't go 2 games in a row like that, back to back. Jeff Lorenowitz, same thing. Maybe he can't go that. He doesn't have that ability to go back to back in 2 games like that. Perez, though, should be able to. And yet he looked worse tonight than he did in the 3-4-3. McCann should be able to. Escobar should be coming back healthy. And yet all of them looked terrible tonight. Our entire defense, I can't think of any of them that stood out to me as like, oh, they had a good game. No, they weren't necessarily not trying. I'll get to those players later on. They were giving an effort, but they looked awful because they're all over the place. Because this formation does not commit enough players back to defend. It does not allow our defense to be set up in a structural manner that allows for them to defend well. It puts 2 guys that have to decide who steps and who drops. They have to decide, do I step across? If I do, will my fullback be there? Because they may have gone down the field in the attack. So why are we going back to the same formation again? Honestly, our worst games this season came in this formation. The 3-4-3, we've had maybe 2 losses in it, and both of them were pretty close. It was just, we couldn't score. We lost 1-0. That was it. 4-2-3-1, you got the 4-0 loss against Houston. You got the 3-1 loss against DC. Honestly, tonight could have been a 4-1 game if we didn't get lucky and get a little bit of a spark there at the end. But we looked god-awful tonight defensively. Giving up 3 goals is pitiful. Against the worst team in the league there's no word that describes that. Just take pitiful and multiply it by 10,000, and that describes how bad giving up 3 goals against San Jose is. So, yeah, I don't understand the switch in formation. I don't understand why you're throwing Escobar back out there. He's not been good enough for us. So why are you putting him back out there? Nagby, I guess he rushed him into it too quickly because he wasn't available tonight. So, great. We're missing one of our best midfielders again because maybe you rushed your decision to bring him back too quickly. So I'm kind of pissed at Tata tonight. I think his decision to go back to the 4-2-3-1 is stupid. And then you bring on, Kevin Kratz, doesn't really help you. Brandon Vasquez, great. I'd love to see the kid get more time, but we're down 2 goals right now. Or no, at that point it was 1 maybe. Why are you bringing on a kid that hasn't played for like 7, 8, 9 games? Something like that? It's been a while. Why are you bringing him on now? What's he going to bring that, Romario couldn't bring? Not much, honestly. So, just his decision-making tonight was terrible. On to individuals. This is where things get a little bit difficult for me because, like I said, some of them did give an effort. Some of them actually tried tonight, but it wasn't good enough. And part of that was down to the formation. Part of that was down to the lack of help. Because honestly, going from Guzan to Parkhurst to Perez, those 3, I will give credit that they tried. I mean, Guzan, how many chances did he save to keep us in the game? I mean, honestly, even the second goal, it was a one-on-one situation. He makes the first save. Parkhurst does well to get behind it, shut it down. Perez even gets back and covers the goal. And everybody else is jogging back. And the guy just chips it to the back post. I can't blame Parkhurst, Perez, or Guzan for that. You maybe put a little bit of blame on Parkhurst for not being able to clear the ball out in the first one, but you also look at the fact that if that were a back 3 instead of a back 2, Parkhurst has already dropped deep. He wins the ball easily. It doesn't get over his head. But that back 2 is so open to just a forward running in between them, and he's in behind. And if he's got more speed than Parkhurst or Perez, which this guy did, he's in behind. Clearly in behind. So it's really hard for me to critique them because I think they're not put in a position for success in this formation. When you play as attack-minded as our fullbacks do and our midfield does, and you leave those two isolated alone with a speedy striker, and honestly, the wings will flood forward as well for San Jose, and the fullbacks aren't getting back. How do you deal with that? What else can you do? They did about as much as they could. I can't really fault either of them. I thought both of them, they put in a hard work ethic. I mean, it wasn't always good. It wasn't always the best. There were mistakes made. I will say Parker should have worn different cleats tonight because he was slipping all over the place. But, I mean, I can't fault them for their work ethic. They gave it their all. So I hate the fact that we ended up giving up 3 goals because there was not much more they could have done. It was poor formation and then poor effort from the players around them. Not enough support. So, on that, going to the fullbacks, Chris McCann really being shown for the not a fullback, not a wingback that he is. I said this in the last game, that wingback position, he didn't look comfortable in it. He doesn't have the ability to get up and down the line. He looks much better in the defense, in that back 3 with Parkhurst and Perez. But, hey, let's just keep throwing him at fullback and letting him get forward and not track him back and just let him do what he wants because who cares about defending, right? I do. So, yeah, he was completely ineffective tonight. I mean, didn't help us on either side of it. Honestly, his crosses weren't good enough, so it doesn't justify him getting up the field. And then when you're not tracking back either as a fullback, it really hurts. And that's why I don't like this formation, because in the other one, if they get up the field, well, we've got 3 defenders back. In this one, they get up the field, we've got 2 defenders back. Not good enough. And then Escobar on the other side, I gave a little lash at him earlier. Yeah, he's not good enough. People have been talking about, will he make it, will he not? It's been shown the past few games he's been a part of. He lacks that sense of where to be. When they do put him back there as a fullback, that means he's the wide player. He's the one getting up the field, which his passing and his crossing is not good enough for him to be up there. On the ball, he's not really that skilled either. And while his speed is okay, it's nothing blazing. It's nothing like, ooh, he's going to get around somebody. Honestly, it's pretty average. So, he's the one providing our width. You see the problem? You've got a guy who doesn't really help you in the attack providing the width. So now we're ineffective out wide. And nobody's saying anything. Nobody's doing anything about it. They're just like, oh yeah, let's just go with him right back again. I will say for the first goal especially, I think he was involved in, was it the third goal? No, he wasn't involved in the third goal. No, the first goal for sure though. That whole little play down the byline, like I said, I didn't get a good chance to see what exactly happened, what the VAR was looking at. But, I mean, he got beat. He got out-muscled. The guy fought harder than he did. He was over there complaining to the referee while the guy picked up the ball and then set up the guy that crossed it in for the first goal. That's not good enough as a defender. You got to do better. And that is one thing I'll say for pretty much everyone on the field, aside from like maybe 2 or 3 players. Way too much complaining to the referees tonight. I mean, Miguel nearly didn't score the third goal? Yeah, the equalizer, the third goal. He nearly didn't score that because he was about to complain to the referee, looked back, saw the ball there at his feet, and he's like, oh, okay, I'll take this and score. I mean, he nearly missed it. And leading up to the 4th goal, or their almost 4th goal, the only reason that happened was because he crossed the ball in, and everybody is shouting for a handball. Everyone stopped. And the ball gets played down the field, and now it's a 3v, 4v2, something like that, going the other way. And if not for the fact that VAR caught it, I mean, that would have been the most embarrassing goal we've given up all season. So, I don't like that. I don't like that mindset of, oh, something doesn't go our way, I'm going to go complain to the referee. That's one of the biggest problems I have with Perez at the beginning of the season, is every little decision that went against him, he spends 2 or 3 minutes talking to the referee. Just get back and do your freaking job. So, anyway, into the midfield, Jeff and Eric. Jeff, like I said, maybe he can't go 2 full 90-minute games. Just looked a bit slower tonight. Didn't look as mobile. He was definitely getting caught stepping in too quickly a few times. Eric, just completely ineffective. Passing, gave away the ball way too many times. Dribbling, too slow on it, gave the ball away too many times. Defending, honestly didn't notice him defending, which when you're in the midfield is not good, because you should notice. Like Jeff, I could see tonight his challenges were a little late, but I see him putting in the challenge. Eric, I didn't really even see putting in a challenge ever. So there's a problem when you're a midfielder and you're not really making any challenges. And so that's pretty much it for those two. The three in behind Joseph. Julian on the right, like I've said before, he doesn't. They talk about, oh, you could put him anywhere on the field and he'll do the job. He'll do the job averagely. I mean, you could see tonight just how much of an average player he really is if you don't put him in the position that he was born to play, which is the right wing back. Giveaways, dribbling into pressure, defensively not really doing anything, bad touches, donkey touches that are like 5 miles away from him. He's not a great player. He's okay. He can do the job well enough. He can suit that role okay. But we're not okay. We are one of the best teams, the best team in the league. We should be the best team in the league. And if you want to be the best team in the league, every player that you put out there needs to be at least doing something great. And when you put Julian out there in any position that's not right wing back, he's just okay. And that's not good enough. He's not going to help you enough. So, yeah, tonight really showed why he needs to be out wide. Keep him out there, let him do what he does best, which is get the ball wide and serve it in. Not trying to cut inside, not trying to dribble, not trying to, pass. Because that's really not something he does well. Sorry. Miguel, I did see a lot more work from him than pretty much any of the other attacking players. He's got so much speed. He tries to track people down. The biggest problem I have with him, though, is, once again, dwells on the ball too long. There are too many moments where he feels like he needs to take it all on his own. He tries to beat 3 or 4 people. Try to get your teammates involved. With all the energy that he has, he should be trying to force people around him to play quicker. And if they're not, well, then it's going to show. But when you're sitting there on the ball and you're trying to take on 3 or 4 people and then you get it poked off of you, well, now you look like you're not having a good game either. So, I don't know. I just think he gets too selfish and too close-minded sometimes. Like, oh, I already tried passing to him like twice and he didn't get to it, so I'm just going to take it myself. That's not a team player. That's not helpful to the rest of the team, because now they're not making the runs for you anymore because you're just dribbling into pressure every time. And then Tito, aside from the goal, honestly did nothing. Gave away the ball a lot. And I'll grant him that the left side is not his best side. The right side, clearly, he's better at just coming in from the right and cutting in on his right foot and taking it down the line. When you put him on his left foot, he's not as good. I'll grant him that. But when he did get switched over to the right, I didn't see much of a change. He's still giving the ball away. He's still passing right to the other team. So aside from that goal, which I'll admit, it was a great goal. It was fantastic even. But you can't just score one fantastic goal, and expect me to say, oh yeah, he had a good game. No, he was still terrible overall. And then Joseph, honestly, back to last season Joseph, which, the attitude, oh, I'm angry, oh, they didn't pass me the ball, oh, I'm going to walk, and I'm offside now because I'm walking, and, oh, give me the ball to my feet, oh, you're not going to do it? Okay, well, I'm just going to stand here and not help you at all. Yeah, best example of how I felt about him tonight, he scores the penalty, which is the first thing he's done the entire game. I don't even remember a good chance he had. He had the one that he set up Tito for. That was the first thing he did all game. And then he scores the penalty, which is the first effective thing he did all game. And then he grabs the ball and puts it down and he starts yelling at the defense. I'm like, okay, hang on. What have you done to help the team? They've been back there busting it, working in a formation that doesn't suit them, while you're up there with all this help around you, and you've done nothing for us. You haven't moved, you haven't caused the defense any trouble, you've barely done a thing all game, and you really want to start yelling at them? That's just... I don't know. It irked me because I've been in that situation. I've been a defender in a team where nobody's working back, nobody's helping defensively, and the attackers are doing nothing. They're losing the ball too easily. They're not trying to help each other out. They're just standing up there, and then they want to yell at us whenever we give up a goal. That's frustrating. That's not a team effort. That's you trying to call somebody out because you're not happy with something, because you're pissed off, and you're trying to call somebody else out who's been working their butts off all night long. Well, you just stand up there and do nothing. So, honestly, that Joseph pisses me off. And I thought we were done with him with that Joseph because this season so far, I haven't seen any of that attitude. I haven't seen that pissed off, I'm going to do nothing because I'm pissed off attitude all season long. And then tonight, he just popped up out of nowhere. Now, some people will say, well, what about the second goal he scored? Well, I mean, great. He managed to pull out that one great get off the defender and head it back across the goal. He made one good run all night long. And it was honestly just because we were in full momentum. We had control of the game for the last 10 minutes. We were like, oh yes, we have a chance. We're back in the game. Let's do this now. And then we came back. But that doesn't change the fact that the previous 80 minutes were terrible. I mean, it was pitiful to watch from Joseph, from Tito, from pretty much everybody on the field. But especially Joseph, who I think just that attitude, that I don't give a crap attitude, the I'm not going to make a run because I'm pissed off attitude, that one pisses me off the most because of personal experiences. I think, Tito didn't really help us tonight. Julian, not in a good position. Miguel, too selfish. Eric and Jeff, neither of them really effective tonight. The back four, well, the two in the middle, honestly, two of the ones that I will give a pass just because they weren't given much help tonight. Two fullbacks didn't help at all. It's just all around. It was frustrating to watch. It's probably one of the most frustrating games all season. And we won, great, but I mean, good lord. We do that in playoffs. We do that in the first round of playoffs when we got to face someone in the knockout stages or, whatever the case is. I mean, we can't have a game like that when we get into the later parts of the season. We can't have a game where half of our players just shut off and say, whatever, who cares. We can't have that game where Tata just, hey, I'm just going to throw out this formation that leaves us completely open in the back and we'll probably get scored on 3 or 4 times. We can't have that at the later parts of the season because teams are going to be coming at us. Better teams than this. That's the other thing. The last 10, 15 minutes showed just how bad San Jose were, and we let them score 3 goals on us. And it took us until the last 10, 15 minutes before we were able to put hardly a chance on them. We can't have that. Okay, so, I mean, some of you may get pissed, some of you may be upset, why can't you just support them? Oh, why can't you just be happy we won? Because it's becoming a habit. It's like every other game we have that just off game where people turn off, players shut off, we go to this stupid formation that doesn't help us. We have this game every other game. It happened at DC, it happened here. Difference is, here we got a terrible team that we played against that has no defense, so we managed to get 3 goals to bring it back. At DC, we actually played a team who's on the rise and who's playing well, and we couldn't score on them. So, yeah, take from this what you will, but in my opinion, I'm looking at this and saying this is a sign that we've got to step our game up. If we want to win anything this season, we've got to step our game up because that's not good enough. That is a pitiful performance that we won, yes, but it should have been a win. Going into the game, it should have been a win. So to come out eking out a win, there shouldn't be this excitement like, oh, look at the comeback. It should be embarrassment that, oh my God, we had to come back from 3-1 down against San Jose. So, and I apologize to any San Jose fans that are watching this. I'm not trying to bash our team or anything, but I mean, they're playing terrible right now. Bottom of the league, really poor performances. What was the last game? You guys lost 6-0 or something. It's not been good. And so for us to go there and just really stink it up and play down and anyway, I'm tired. It's now 1:30 in the morning. I'm ready to go to bed. And I think it stopped uploading again. I hate the internet. Anyway. Like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you want to see more Atlanta United games. And I will see you guys at the next game. Peace out.